In the comment sections of my last video, a viewer by the name of Philochamp680 gave me an idea. Videos where I rank and recommend web novels that I am currently reading. I've done something kind of similar before, though at the time it was more of a top 5 in a specific genre format. Now, today marks the first in a monthly series of ranked web novel videos. After this one, expect a top 5 ranking for February, March, April, all the way to the frosty tips of December 2026 with a total top web novels of 2026 ranking at the year's end. Now before we dive into this video, I'd just like to bring up my sponsor, which is myself, and my web novel, Moari Saga. It is an Afro fantasy story currently on Wattpad. The link is in the description below, alongside my Instagram where I post art from my book, the art that you're seeing flipping around over here. So links to all the mentioned stories are down in the description as well. And one quick note, I am giving my review and recommendations from the first 10 chapters of each story for this ranking. That's enough to give me a solid impression, but just know that I haven't read everything yet. So now let's start with number 5. At number 5 we have Valion by Toki Pier. This is found on Royal Road. Now Valion is a progression fantasy with currently 50 chapters as of this video. Before we go on, here is the synopsis. In the year 1050 AD, a brutal war erupted between humanity and the nightmare species known as the Narvans, grotesque beings born of shadow, chaos, and hatred. With their monstrous powers and thirst for domination, the Narvans pushed mankind to the brink of extinction. In humanity's darkest hour, a warrior named Valion rose to lead the resistance. A mysterious figure shrouded in legend, Valion wielded unmatched power drawn from the ancient source known as Parna, a divine life force that flows through all living beings under his command. The humans launched a desperate counterattack to reclaim their world, but victory came at a cost. Valion vanished after the final battle, leaving behind whispers of his sacrifice and a prophecy that his legacy would return when the world once again faced annihilation. Centuries later, the Narvans begin to stir once more. As the seal on their realm weakens, strange events unfold, and one young man, Leoran, discovers that he may be the one destined to carry Valion's will forward. Torn between fate and freedom, burdened by power he doesn't understand, Leoran must awaken the truth of the past, rally broken warriors, and confront the horrors that once nearly destroyed humanity. The legend of Valion was only the beginning. Okay, the first thing that will strike you about Valion is how beautifully it's written. Like, the author crafts what I can only describe as like liquid prose, professional yet accessible. See, one problem with some prose-heavy web novels is that they can be difficult to read casually. This web novel does not have that issue. A further testament to the author's skill is how they write action scenes. They're descriptive and hit that sweet spot where it's neither too indulgent nor too vague. No hand waving here. Our main character, Leoran, is well written and clearly defined by the first chapter. He's kind of action focused, but don't mistake that for him being brainless. He has real depth here. Now, a bit of a content warning for this one. If you're sensitive to violence beyond generic punches and kicks, know this gets graphic early on. Side characters get dismembered as early as chapter 2. It's not gratuitous, but the novel doesn't shy away from it either. Like, even the supporting cast, characters like Abhinav and Shivinashu have memorable intros and their interactions with Leoran really sell their close relationship. But most of all, if you're not already sold, this story has an Indian mythology aesthetic that sets it apart, and there are not that many web novels that really delve into that. Now, number 4, 272 Days Until by Non-Existent Nova. So this story takes us all the way to the big yellow itself, Wattpad. It is a cosmic urban fantasy currently sitting at 51 parts with 292 reads and 58 votes. Once again, we go through the synopsis. Kyle, a boy torn thin by expectations that were never truly his own, misunderstood, overestimated, and exhausted from a lifetime spent pleasing everyone but himself. After graduation, he leaves behind his quiet countryside home, hoping a distant university might finally offer him peace. Instead, the city offers him something far stranger than loneliness. Waiting inside the house, meant to be his new start, is a girl he has never met, serene, unfamiliar, and fundamentally wrong in ways he can't quite name. She doesn't feel human. She isn't very good at pretending to be. She asks if she can live with him. Reluctant and too kind to refuse, Kyle agrees, unaware that he has just welcomed into his life something far older and greater than he could possibly understand. She's not merely otherworldly. She's an existence that should not care about human hearts at all. An outer god wearing a fragile disguise, observing a species she was never meant to touch. Yet he fascinates her. Beneath his calm exterior is a boy shaped by a past that taught him to distrust affection, to measure love as an obligation, and to fear what it might demand of him in return. His broken-heartedness is not something Anastasia was prepared for, nor something her kind was ever meant to encounter. As she watches him, studies him, and begins to feel the boundary between the observer and the participant begin to erode. What begins as a quiet cohabitation becomes something far more dangerous. Will their impossible bond heal the wounds Kyle tried desperately to bury, or will it awaken emotions in both of them that neither of their worlds will allow to exist? Oh boy, this synopsis was a bit of a mouthful, but from the moment you open the first chapter, the cosmic elements just come out and clock you in the jaw. The author has built an incredibly detailed world with abstract authors, metaphysical editors. I've never quite read a web novel with this kind of detailed, world building, quasi-quantum physics multiverse. Now, compared to Valen, this story is much slower on the action and focuses more on the character interactions and fun hijinks between Kyle, our human MC, and Anastasia, our cosmic verse girl. This is sort of a slow burn story, so don't expect much action right out of the gate for every 3 chapters. If you enjoy character-driven stories with rich world building and an existential romance, this is absolutely worth your time. Number 3, Technomancer Regenesis by Earl Dennison. So we're back on Royal Road. If the idea of guns and swords tickles something fierce inside you, then this 34-chapter story is for you. Why? Because it brings guns and swords together. So, once again, the synopsis. A particle physicist with an eidetic memory is reincarnated into a world where magic is real. Born into the Empire's upper nobility, Ezra Blackfire quickly learns that power isn't earned by talent alone. It's negotiated through bloodlines, oaths, and brutal politics. As his family is pulled into a rising conflict and assassination game, Ezra grows stronger, faster, without becoming a pawn. Armed with modern scientific knowledge, and relentless curiosity. He approaches magic like physics, testing, refining, and weaponizing it. To survive, Ezra will build technology, forge new methods of combat, and reshape his domain from the ground up, while the Empire's great houses close in around him. So, this story offers a compelling twist on the isekai genre. It goes for a more hyper-rational worldview for a character who kind of brings, like, if you're a fan of competent characters who bring in out of context ideas into a magic setting and just flip it on its head, this one is for you. Like, the prose are sharp, especially the sensory description of the void and Ezra's transition into his new body. That was like beautifully written. And like, that's generally, if you're a fan of seeing the magic versus science type of storyline, I recommend this one for you. So, number 2, A Land of Queens by Pony12345432. So once again, we return to Wattpad for this high fantasy action adventure. Here's the synopsis. You must be the fastest, the strongest, the best. Every choice Arabelle of Asheville makes is a desperate attempt to keep her dying sister, Mireya, alive. When she's accepted into the brutal Emberhold Academy, she believes it's her chance to save Mireya, with the help of her unbound dragon. But the Academy is no sanctuary. Secrets simmer beneath the polished walls. Betrayal lurks in the shadows and death stalks the corridors. Haunted by the choices of those she calls friends, Arabella doesn't know who to trust in this treacherous maze. Her survival depends on bargains struck in the darkness, setting the stage for a war to ignite, a war that will begin and end with Mireya. As rebel forces move in, Arabelle's dragon causes her to question her loyalties to the Queen, a loyalty that could burn Emberhold to the ground, leaving only ash and ruin. So of all the stories on this list, A Land of Queens has the strongest individual voice. Like, in its first person perspective of Arabelle, it's immediately engaging, distinct, and I think it's the first one in which the character's point of view really felt like the character, which I don't blame the other books for. It's something that I also suffer from. It's very difficult to write a character, especially a main character, who feels unique when you're reading from their point of view, and this is something that I very much like about this book. And like, this book, 278 until, is also a slow burn kind of thing. So if you're a reader who just wants to get immediately into the action of characters throwing fists, this might not be the book you're looking for, but I still highly recommend it. If you're looking for dragon riders, academies, stories with real stakes, this isn't your typical school setting. Things get dark, but if you really like I said, if you really like dragons, politics, the academia things, you will genuinely love this book, and I very much recommend it. So, we come to the one we've been waiting for. Number 1, Decaying Eminence by Moto OG. Still sticking to Wattpad. When ancient cosmic power threatens to reignite global war, a determined young man from a lawless land must muster his own volatile abilities and rally unlikely allies to defy godlike tyrants and forge a new path for humanity. This one was actually quite short compared to the others. So, say buddy, do you like shonen? Well, do I have the story for you. It's called Decaying Eminence. If there's one novel on this list that I would kill to see animated into a high-paced action series, it would be Decaying Eminence. The energy is relentless, the action is creative, and the explosives and the emotional beats just hit hard. This story, it fits in good character work and fight choreography that is inventive and visceral. Every confrontation feels earned and escalates naturally, and the supporting cast are not just sidekicks, they are really well built and you will genuinely remember them. So, there you have it, my top 5 web novels for January 2026. From Indian mythology, progression fantasy, to cosmic romance, from science meets magic isekai to Dragon Rider academies and shonen style epic battles, there's something here for everyone. Let me know in the comments which one of these you're most excited to check out, or if you have any recommendations for next month's rankings. Don't forget to check out Mari Saga, as well as these books. They will be linked in the description below, and drop a like if you enjoyed this video. See you in February's rankings. But before we get there, I'm working on a little video that we're going to talk about, in which we're going to talk about Wattpad's unfortunate ad problem. So, this has been Red Chaos 1, signing off.